Welcome to our Devos this week, where we are going to be talking about the subject of Jesus, fully man and fully God. As a pastor, it's my job to get you to have a closer relationship with God. And I don't know what your background was like, but I grew up often thinking that God was so far away. Well, this week in our devotional time, I want to give you some things about Jesus that most of the time we don't think of. And it's going to make you realize just how close Jesus is to you and just how much Jesus understands what goes on in your life. So the first thing I want you to realize about Jesus is that Jesus had a human body. Now remember, Jesus entered into human time, in human existence at a place in history. And he took on upon himself human flesh. I've had more than enough people when I would do systematic Bible teaching in Sunday school at different times when we used to have Sunday school, this is many, many years ago, that would say, well, Sam, when Jesus went to the cross, he was God. So was that a real big deal? Come on. If you're Superman, it doesn't feel the same when you get shot as it is if you're just a regular person, right? But they're missing out on the crucial understanding that Jesus had a human body. And when Jesus died the death on the cross, the worst death ever, there were physical things that were happening to him that are very similar to physical things that happened to us. Never anything so terrible and tragic as what had happened to him. Nothing so horrific as to be publicly executed. But Jesus had human frailty. One of the most heartbreaking verses of Scripture is when Jesus is being crucified and he's being taunted by soldiers. And in John chapter 19, verse 28, he's on the cross and he says, I thirst. Or he'd say, I'm thirsty. Literally, he wanted water. Now, this fulfills prophecy, and there's whole other reasons why it's mentioned so frequently. But I want you to imagine him having that pain, him having that frailty, that sickness. So why do I bring this all up? What's the point? It's simple. You're going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. We're going to go through periods of pain and struggle. And some of us, right now, some of you, you're fighting with an illness that is really damaging to you, or you have something chronic that you've been dealing with your whole life. Don't feel that God is far away from that. Jesus knows your pain. He is acquainted with your weaknesses. He's acquainted with the things that rob you of your joy. He knows what it's like to have physical infirmities. So if you ever question how close God is, just remember Jesus' humanity and then thank him for his deity.